Okay, what's up? Welcome back to another video. Today, in this video, we're going to go ahead and talk about... Whoa, sorry about the camera there. We're going to talk about why this guy right here, this Black & Decker electric-powered leaf blower, is better than this Craftsman, this gas-powered blower. Now, again, I did actually just make a video about why exactly I think the gas is better, and these are more so just pros and cons comparisons. But if you want to watch that one, definitely go ahead and check it out. I will say right now that there are things I like and strongly dislike about both. Now, I've talked about why I think the gas blower is better overall, and I do still think that. You know, I want to make that very clear. I do still think that gas blowers generally are going to give you a better value for the money, but at the same time, there are some things that I really have come to appreciate with the electric leaf blowers. So I want to talk about those as well, okay? Now, one of the key things that I think is worth talking about right away is the ease of use. And I'm going to say right now, in terms of usability, in terms of just, being able to quickly fire this thing up and quickly kind of get moving with it and start working with it, electric blowers have a huge advantage. If the battery is charged, then you put the battery in and you turn it on and you go about your business. That means that you don't have to run out and get fuel. You don't have to mix any fuel, which again really is not an issue. I've talked about how the fuel mixing is really pretty simple, or you can buy it pre-mixed. But it is something that you don't even need to worry about with the electric blower, right? You've got it at home. You've got a power cord. You've got an outlet that you can plug it into, and you charge the battery. You plug it in. You're good to go. Another benefit is if you have a electric leaf blower that has a lot of the same batteries that you ordinarily use for other tools, yeah, okay, that's another advantage because you're not going to have to find them. You're not going to have to seek them out. You're just going to be able to say, okay, well, this is, great. I have the batteries. I've got 5 of them. You're probably going to be able to go a very long time with that. So that's huge, okay? Just the ability of grabbing a battery, plugging it in, it really does make it very, very easy and very, very straightforward, as opposed to the gasoline blowers, where you do have to you kind of have to think ahead a little bit more. You kind of have to plan. Is it that hard to keep extra fuel on hand? No, it's not. But again, that is a plus, and I can't deny that. Another thing I want to talk about here is obviously just a general lack of maintenance, all right? And this kind of goes hand in hand with the ease of starting this up and the ease of using it just generally. The gas blower has an engine, okay? It's got an engine you've got to maintain. Again, is it too hard if you know what you're doing? No, it's not, but you still have to maintain it. If you don't maintain the engine of the gas blower, well, guess what? It's going to stop working, and you're not going to have a leaf blower for very long, right? Whereas with the electric, I've had to do no maintenance on this. It's very simple, very straightforward. You plug the battery in, and you're good to go, okay? So I think that alone is also another significant factor where if you're kind of in between these, especially if you're a first-time homeowner and you're thinking, well, what do I buy? Because these, again, they're roughly the same price. They're not really that different. If you really don't want to do any extra maintenance at all, you just want to put a battery in and you want to go about your business, I would get a slightly more expensive electric battery-powered leaf blower. This one's fine. I've talked about it in other videos as well, but it does have some things that I don't necessarily like. Anyway, let's talk now about sort of generally speaking comfort and ease of use. This is where I think a lot of people are going to be quite happy to sort of move away from the commonality that gas tools really had for such a long time. Now, I've got a lot of experience with lawn mowing equipment. Right now I'm rocking the Ye Olden Reel mower, which I absolutely love, by the way. But anyway, and yeah, there's a chair back here. That's a different topic for a different day. I've got to say, when I was a kid, I absolutely hated the gas tools because they were large, they were bulky, they were heavy. They do vibrate quite a bit, and that gets uncomfortable, okay? Your hands start to kind of get sore from the vibration as well. They're very loud. They put off exhaust, which, all that stuff can be pretty unpleasant. I actually do have a gas-powered Ariens snowblower as well. And when I use that snowblower, I generally put different clothing on because, it does to a certain extent. It puts off exhaust, it has a smell to it, and it's not incredibly pleasant. Now, generally, that means that you're getting more power. You're not going to have to spend as long doing the things that you set out to do that day. But at the same time, with an electric blower, you're not going to have that same sort of discomfort, right? You're going to actually have, I would argue, a much more pleasant experience. It's much, much quieter, substantially quieter, which neighbors also appreciate, I'm sure. Okay, you can hear this leaf blower because it is a small engine from like a mile or two away, and it's loud. Okay, it might be a slight exaggeration, but it's loud. You know what I'm talking about. If you've used any sort of gas leaf blower, then yeah, you absolutely know. Whereas with this one, you fire it up, it sounds sort of like a vacuum cleaner. I would say it's not even as loud as some vacuum cleaners. Doesn't produce any fumes, doesn't put off any exhaust. It's a lot more comfortable to use. Not to mention, and I'm going to try to estimate the weights here. I should have brought a scale out with me. This one is very, very lightweight, almost to the point where it gets a little awkward just because it's sort of very front heavy. When you put the battery in, it's a little bit better. It's still not fantastic. Whereas the gas one here, is hefty. It weighs a good amount. Now, if you're, a grown man, or you're someone that, hits the gym often, because, I don't want to leave anybody out. Let me go ahead and just clear that up right away, too. Anyone can use either of these. Let's just make that very, very clear. It's just, even, and I do a decent amount of weightlifting. I am a fairly big guy. I still notice the weight of the gas blower. So I don't care how beefed up you are. You're going to notice that weight, and it's not going to be, sometimes very comfortable. There are going to be times where you're just not going to feel like using the leaf blower anymore. Is it because, it's overwhelming, it weighs 50 pounds? No, it's not, but it's not anywhere near as convenient as using something like this, right? Where I could literally use this quite literally all day long. The gas blower, I don't really like to use it more than a couple of hours at a time. First of all, because I know the noise starts to annoy people. But it's just not super comfortable, right? It gets warm, it puts out fumes. It's just not fantastic. Now, you get a lot more power, you get a lot more oomph, and that helps you get the job done faster. But if you're someone that maybe doesn't really like to use super heavy tools for whatever reason, then yeah, the electric blowers can be a fantastic choice. So anyway, I just want to go ahead and point out those couple of things, just kind of delineate those and talk about them briefly. We're not going to talk about this for a whole lot longer, but yeah, ultimately, when it comes down to it, I'm going to be quite honest, I like both. I think that both have pros and cons, and I think that, frankly speaking, they kind of just need to be used in their own respective situations. Man, I'm trying to think right now, if I had to buy one and only one, I'd probably go with the gas one. And I know that, again, that's going to kind of be probably pretty divisive, but I like the capability it brings to the table. I like the ability of it to, move a lot of heavier material relatively quickly. But, make no mistake, the electric blower does still have a lot of benefits that it certainly does bring to the table. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have a great one.